How's everyone doing tonight? Whoop, what's going on here? All right, there we are. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna start building soon. Let's switch here to HDMI 1 and camera 1, and let's get started. So, we left off yesterday. Oh, forgot to mute the speaker. All right, so you can see the width of the car from the underside here. So I don't know there's a lot of space there between like the engine, the wall. There's walls at the side of both the sort of fictional engine and the actual engine. And you can see where the tires are going to attach. You can see the width of the car. So there's actually a lot to go here, as evidenced by the fact that we're only on page 27 of how many pages is this thing actually? It's 76 pages, so we're only like a third of the way through. I don't think it's going to take, though, 39 days. I think it's going to start moving quicker. Anyway, let's just get to work today, and we'll see what happens. I'll tell you, I was really distracted. No, distracted is too strong of a word. Perturbed, let's call it. The events in the news lately, particularly the arrest in New York of a former president. And I saw a lot of people celebrating it. And but then a lot of legal analysts are all saying it's completely bogus. There's no case here. There's nothing. There's like absolutely nothing. So this is weird for three reasons, really. The first, it's like sad for the country because I think the opposition party to the guy who was arrested, they have a lot of criminals, and somehow none of them have been arrested. But that's sort of, I'm not fine with that one, but that happens in every country. Like you could arrest every politician that you want in every country because it's pretty much impossible to do the job without breaking some laws. That's just like, the way it is. And then the fact that he's arrested, it sort of makes it look like it's one-sided, like one side controls the justice system. But that's still not what really gets me. What really gets me is the people that I see celebrating this. Like, people who seem like otherwise rational, sane adults. They're like celebrating someone being arrested without cause, and they know it's without cause, and they're cheering for it. Like, something's really wrong about that. But then there's even one more aspect that bothers me. Before I get into that, let me just mention what we're going to start building here. So they want us to cut a toothpick in half and to use the two halves of the toothpick to put piece 108 and 109 together. So we're going to count that as 4 pieces. That brings us to 289. I think we're at how many? What page are we at? It says 27 on the board. I'm just confirming if that's true. Yeah, we're on page 27. All right, so I'm going to cut the toothpick and find those 2 pieces. So here's the last aspect that bothers me. In case you're watching this 10 years from now, it's Easter week. And in fact, tomorrow is Holy Thursday. Holy Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, was the day of the Last Supper. And then the next day, Jesus was arrested. So I don't know who picked the date, whether it was the former president or the people who were like harassing him, but someone picked this date. And it's either the people arresting him and it's a mockery of Jesus, or it's the person being arrested who picked the date, and in which case it's some bizarre, I don't know if delusion of grandeur is the right word, some bizarre like cosplay. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's very disturbing to me. I think that former president is going to lose a lot of support if he's the one who picked that date, because it's a mockery. Yes, he was a good president. He probably had the election stolen, but like, to recreate the script of Jesus is, to me, only a really sick person would do that. I don't mind if it's one of those countries where like everybody does it and they like walk through the streets and carry a cross and someone whips them. That's an overt cosplay, and it's sort of a form of penance. I don't see myself ever doing it, but I don't object to the people who do it. They feel that, it's their penance or whatever they're doing, as long as they have agreed to it, But to do it like without saying that it's a penance and without saying that it's symbolic, and to just allow people to think it, this to me seems like the way you would try to sell it as something like biblical, like miraculous or whatever. And that to me is disgusting. If the former president is trying to compare himself or try to make people think of Jesus when they think of him, then he has some real mental problems. This is like, it's funny because I remember when I was a kid, like one of the descriptions of crazy people was that they thought that they were Jesus, and then another description of crazy people was that they were up in their room talking to themselves every night. So basically, that's my current life. The second one, I'm in my room right now. My room happens to be upstairs, and I'm talking to myself. Let me just check. Yeah, okay. There's nobody currently attending this stream, so I'm officially talking to myself. Why is there no one here? Because it's not 11 yet. It's only 10:55. So probably some people will show up in the next 5 minutes, and then I'll be talking to 2 or 3 people, which might be pathetic for a stream, but at least it's pretty good for, someone you're trying to build a case of institutionalization against. All right, this piece is actually a little tricky. I'm just going to bring it over. No, bring it here just so you can see it close up compared to the instruction. You see that little hook in the piece? So that's how I know that I'm going the right direction. There's no bend this way. It might look like it in the screen, but obviously it's been punched out of a flat board. It's not going to bend upward. That's impossible. But you can see that it matches the bend in the instructions. So then we're just going to add this other piece, which looks like it goes in either direction, and then we're good. We're good to move on. So yeah, who picked this date? I'm not happy with it. It's like, I feel like Republicans were going to win. Well, they did win the House, but they were going to win even bigger. And then they decided that this was the time to reverse Roe versus Wade. And now we were going to win the White House. Trump already won the White House. For some reason, didn't. Neither him nor Pence objected to the basically all the flaws and all the changing laws without legislator and all the shenanigans. Trump claims that he objected and that Pence didn't, but did he really object? He didn't object very strongly. He made strong speeches. He went on camera and looked mad. Yeah, he's been an actor for 50 years. He knows how to go on camera and look mad, but he didn't actually do anything. So I'm not really, as far as I'm concerned, he won an election and didn't take the office. So why would we vote for him again? That's ridiculous. He won and he didn't take the office. We have to assume that if he wins again, he's again not going to take the office. All right. So this looks like maybe a clutch or some type of, it has a little bit of ink there. I'm not sure if you can see that. I again went to the wrong camera. All right, so right there, there's kind of a change in the shape, and there's a little bit of ink, and it kind of looks like a gear shift, basically. I'm not sure if that's what it is or not, but it kind of looks like it. There's something behind it, which has numbers on it. I'm actually not sure if I'm even putting it in the right way. The toothpicks go through these circles, and then you can see there when you raise the stick. All right. Does that seem like it's too low? Does it seem like maybe I'm supposed to put it in this way? Let's see, because then it's going to move across the gauge. I tell you, it's tough to figure out where it's supposed to go. All right, so let's see. No, it doesn't move at all this way. So you actually have to do it this way. Otherwise, it's not going to move. So in the picture, in the instructions, it kind of looks like it's going right along this line, and that's what I have. So I think that's right. I'm not really sure. Anyway, there's a 109 here. We're going to grab 2 more 109s and put them over here. So where are those 109s? These boards are now stacked right in front of camera 3, which I find slightly amusing, but I won't force you to look at it the whole time. All right, so 109. Here's some more 109s right here. 2 more 109s. Yeah, American politics is messed up. It's beyond that the politicians are the worst. I mean, like Trump, Hillary, Biden, Obama, Romney, McCain, Bush. Why are we nominating the absolute worst people? And I feel like right now we have a chance to get DeSantis, and it seems like both Republican and Democrat parties are like doing their best to make sure that it's Trump, not DeSantis. All right, let me increment to 289. And you say like, oh, it's not both parties. The Democratic Party arrested Trump. Yeah, they arrested Trump. They made him the biggest news story. They made it seem like that's the person they're most afraid of, which is, of course, going to trigger, Republicans into thinking that's the person they need to vote for. The person who didn't finish building the wall. The person who got January 6 people arrested and thrown in jail for years. The person who, well, he got out of Afghanistan, I guess. But he did like a few good things, but mostly, I don't know. He did a lot of good things. Trump did have a good record as president, but he did a lot of good things in terms of policy. And I'm actually fine with him serving another term. But he did a lot of damage to the Republican Party. It's like if Hillary Clinton's, those emails where they said like a Pied Piper strategy and we're going to force Trump onto the Republican Party to destroy it. I don't know if she said destroy it. She said Pied Piper. Pied Piper is a story you can read where there was like these rats in a village and they hired the Pied Piper and he played music and he led the rats into the ocean so they drowned, and then the people didn't pay the second half of the money, so then he played music and the kids followed him into the water. I guess it's a lesson to pay your debts or something, or some witch will, do some bad thing. So anyway, Hillary referred to Trump as a Pied Piper. Pretty effective, right? She made a pretty good call on that. Trump has certainly done, tons of damage to the Republican Party. It's and even though if he wins the Republican nomination, I'm going to vote for him again. But honestly, I don't know how far he's setting us back. We should already be, on top. It's like, I don't know who picked Trump to be president, like Chinese Communist Party, like whoever's trying to destroy America. I shouldn't assume Chinese Communist Party, especially considering they're sending me all this free stuff to review. It would be wrong of me to accuse them, but, maybe they're bribing me. I don't know. Or maybe I do good reviews. I don't know. I think what I do is long reviews. So when I do politics, it's like, this guy's insane, nobody listened to him. Which, by the way, officially I agree with that position, because if you listen to me, then I'd be responsible for what I say. So you actually shouldn't listen to me. But in terms of reviews, the more text you put into the review, the more it fills out the search algorithm. And I think people are happy with that. I just want to point out, on this piece 110, I don't know if you can see it. There's a little, like, wow, the lighting is bad on this one. Okay, there's a little, like, line there. You can see that little line. And it's not on this side. It's only on one side. So that little line, it points, like, away from this gun. Like, the line should not be facing the gun. The line should be away from the gun. And then these, like, 4 fingers or whatever you want to call them, kind of looks like a ghost from Pac-Man. They're going to point, by the way, I called this a gun, but it's obviously a car part. But it just kind of looks like a gun. All right. So we're going to slide this piece on. But we got to put something underneath so that the toothpicks don't back out. Probably the next instruction is going to say to cut the toothpicks, but at least for now, let's keep them flush. All right, so there we go. That's becoming quite a piece there. I mean, look how thick that is. All right, so there's that thick piece. Thick boy. All right, what's next on the instructions? These instructions are a little jumbled, no? All right, the next instruction, as predicted, is to cut these toothpicks. Cut both of them, 2 arrows. Sometimes you see the cut symbol. For example, here you see the cut symbol, but there'll only be 1 arrow, and you have to be really careful. But in this case, there's 2 arrows, so we're cutting both toothpicks. So I would recommend holding one of them so that when you cut it, it doesn't go flying, and take your eye out. Hold the other one as well. So there's the 2 toothpicks. That's done. Okay, next. So what the hell are we doing here? Looks like we're putting this away for a second, and we're going to start on a new part, which involves 111, 112, and 2 113s. The 113s are those little, like, pieces in the middle. And there's a caution. But I haven't figured out yet what that caution is trying to say. All right, that's what it looks like when it's built. You see the check mark. All right, so 111, 2 113s, 112. And there's a caution. And the caution is like arrows, like going, like he went that way, and you point, 1 arrow goes one way and 1 arrow goes the other way. So I don't know what they're trying to say there with those 2 arrows. All right, I can't do it on this camera. All right, the arrows are like pointing in opposite directions. I can't figure out what they're trying to say from the picture, but maybe when I hold the pieces, it's going to make more sense. All right, so the pieces come from sheet 3, 111, 2 113s, and a 112. So let's grab those pieces. Push the car a little bit, make some space there. All right. There's 112. That's one of the pieces, right? Yeah, 112. All right. 111 should be kind of a long, skinny piece. Not too long. I don't see 111, so I'm thinking, is it on this tomato? It is. There's the 111. So this tomato must have come out of this board at some point. There we go. There's the tomato. It must have been here somewhere. That's the only place it could have come from, because it came from this board, and as you can see, there's the 111. And now we need two 113s, which I believe these are them. They look kind of, I guess I would describe them as symmetric, right? I think so. Which is odd because they're giving us a caution sign. And if the piece is symmetric, what is the caution? We still haven't figured out what that caution is about. Maybe it's about the piece. Oh, I know what that caution is about. These pieces are going to go like side by side. So we have to make sure we have the one on the right side. Okay, so the arrow's pointing. He went that way. What they're trying to say is that this one goes in front and this one goes in back. All right, let's put on one and then let's put on the other. If they even fit in there. My goodness, it's tight in there. All right, some guy was on my page today and he said to sand these things and wax them when they don't fit. Now, I don't want to sand and wax them so much that they slip out. I got to be careful about that. But at least let's, a little dab. Let's get a little dab on there. So the line in the middle is going to go in the middle of this oval. Like, not like this. That's incorrect. Like this. That's how we're supposed to do it. It's a tight fit, I tell you. How am I supposed to get the second one in? It's going to be a really tight fit. The second one is going to be tough. But we'll only sand it and wax it as much as we need to get it in there, because we don't want to overdo it. The second one is like critical. So not only does it have to go in the back, which we've already got set up, but it has to go in sort of this shape. It's another piece that looks like it could be a gun. I don't know. I don't want to look like I'm failing like a Rorschach test, but I don't know. A lot of these things are, okay, fine. It looks like a spray hose in the backyard lawn care hose. We could put it something. What does it look like that? Looks like a penguin sticking its beak up to get food. Oh, you know what? This is a alligator. That's what it is. It's an alligator. All right. Doesn't look anything like a gun. Anyway, the alligator's tail points down. You know why it's a gun? Because that's the way you got to hold it to do it correctly. Because if it's an alligator, it's upside down. But anyway, this is the way it goes. No matter what you want to call that. I don't want to go against YouTube's, prohibition on mentioning guns. So it's an upside down alligator. Goes in here. All right, we did it. Okay, so we're not done with page 27 yet. By the way, did we add those pieces? Those were 4 pieces there. Why am I going backwards? All right, so the 111, 112, and 2 113s, that went up 4 pieces. And now we're going to go up 3 more pieces for 114, 115, and 116, bringing us to 297. So were any of those pieces in here? Let's check that first. I don't see any. So 114, 115, and 116. Yeah. Why does that say 110? 116 is the ring, but there's like the ghost of the ghost inside. Remember that piece 110 that looked like a ghost? Well, now here's the wood that went around it, so it's the ghost of the ghost. Wow, a lot of splinters on that piece. All right. I gotta make that transition smoother. I just thought I'd show the studio cam for a second. You can still see the pieces. 116 this one is. 116, 115, and 114. So you can see what I see there, which is all my electronics and stuff. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, even I'm getting annoyed by that. All right. Wow, so many splinters on piece 116. It's like all splinters. All right. Now we need 115 and 114. There they are. There's 115. There's 114. Excuse me. Now, how do we put these together? It goes like, this goes like upside down into this, and then this. So basically, this coat hanger piece is gonna connect these two circle pieces, and there's like notches. Everything's got notches, and presumably they're all gonna line up. All right. Wow, you know what? I probably should have sanded that, because if that piece breaks, it's probably bad news. But anyway, there we go. It's on. This little piece is on, but now we got to get this piece on it too. There's ink on this side. There's ink on one side. So ink side out, as always. Might be. Is this the steering wheel? Do you think this is the steering wheel to the car? It could be. Then was that previous piece we put on, like tilt wheel steering? I don't know. That piece went in pretty easily. Yeah, I think that's the steering wheel. All right, always feels good to get the steering wheel in. And we're moving on to page 28. All right, let's see. So page 28 starts off with the three pieces we just built. We're going to put them together. So this is the steering column. This must be the dashboard. So why is this? What's this thing on the dashboard all about? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So that's the dashboard. What's that? The radio? And there's the knobs on the radio. Anyway, through that circle. Oh, that is the gear shift. It's the gear shift. Yeah, it's the gear shift. But it's just it's like old school. It's behind the steering wheel, which makes sense because we're talking about a Cabriolet. I don't know why I acted surprised. All right, anyway, let's try to put this in without screwing up. So it kind of points down again. Now it definitely looks like a pressure washer. So here's the hose, and then here's the pressure washer attachment. There's the connector. All right, so it's definitely no longer a gun. It's a pressure washer. And I'm not saying that to be politically correct. That's what it looks like now. All right, so let's get that through there. Pop the steering wheel on. Let's see. And then check our work, because I have this feeling of dread that I did that wrong. I don't know. Well, it looks right. I don't see any problem. Feels like it could be tighter. Yeah, it's a little bit tighter. I don't want to break the pieces. I'm not going to push them any further. I think that looks pretty good. We got the steering wheel with the gear shift. Yeah, that looks nice. That's going to be nice. All right, we don't get any credit for that. We don't get any pieces for that. But we're going to get we're going to get 6 pieces just from toothpicks and then 2 117s. All right, let's just start with the toothpicks. Let's cut toothpicks. That's going to bring us to 303. So we need 2 4Zs, which is the big one, and 4 2Zs, which is the small one. All right, let's cut some toothpicks. While I'm cutting some toothpicks, let's check in on the news of the day. I know I want to get off of news and do something else, but I didn't think of it yet. So let's just do some more news for today. Go back to Timmy here. All right. I try to avoid news stories that have like Biden's picture or especially Biden's video. I find listening to his videos like incredibly annoying. It's something about the sound of his voice. I can't take it. All right. Massachusetts. Let's read this one. All right. Massachusetts city grants legal protection to polyamorous families. Somerville granted polyamorous legal domestic partner status in 2020. And then they got a little graphic there with a kid looking at a polycule and saying which one is Dada. A city in Massachusetts has adopted new protections for non-traditional families, including families with adults in polyamorous relationships. Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. It's difficult to comment on these topics without, I don't want to even say getting canceled because I don't have a fear of getting canceled on YouTube. It's more like people in my real life maybe misinterpreting. So let me just start by saying I don't have opinions on what anyone else does with their life. But I do have opinions on the legal things. So let's start, for example, the new popular thing is like transgender. I don't know if popular is the right word. The new hot topic is like transgender. And what's interesting to me about transgender is they have these initials LGBTQ plus, or whatever all the letters are. And the T stands for transgender, and the LG stand for lesbian and gay, and the B stands for bisexual. So let's just start with the LG. The L is when a woman dates a woman, and the G is when a guy dates a guy or marries. The T is when a person believes that they were born in the wrong body and they switch genders. And sometimes they switch back. Sometimes they switch genders. It just means they change their clothes. I mean, I know that it's not as simple as that, but like they don't necessarily take hormones or do any surgeries. Sometimes it's just like an attitude. And now, this is already becoming, what's the word here? Complicated. Because if you think about it, a T is not the same as an L and a G. Because a T is a conformity in a sense. Because you're saying, I feel like a woman, therefore I'm a woman. Or I feel like a man, and therefore I'm a man. Whereas L and G are saying more like, I'm a woman, but I don't act like, I want to do things that men do. Or I'm a man, but I want to do things that women do. I don't know if maybe you disagree with how I'm describing those. But those are kind of like, from a definition standpoint, how I'm seeing it. So the T, in that sense, is very different from the L and G. So that's already weird. Now, the B, original definition of marriage was man and woman. And you said, oh, but what about what about man and man? What about woman and woman? And, people are like, yeah, okay. I mean, we're not bigots. I mean, yes, of course you can have your marriage recognized and have all the legal, benefits that come with that, like taxes and hospital visitation. I forget what the arguments were that you used to hear a lot, but they were good arguments. Like sharing the pension fund and sharing the, whatever, all the legal benefits of being married. Like it made sense, But the B, now here's the problem with the B. It leads to the polycule, right? Because if you're saying that it's a B, if you're saying that you're the man who dates both women and men, or the woman who dates both women and men. By the way, I'm going to add 2 more pieces for 2 117s, and I'm going to put one of these 4Zs through it. So let me just find the 117. What board am I looking at? All right, we're still on board 3 for 117. All right, times 2, and then they're showing an H for symmetry. So I actually need to do this twice. So we need 4 117s. Is that correct? I don't see any 117s on this board. Am I holding board 2 or board 3? All right, this is board 2. Let's go to, all right, so board 3 is over here. I don't know how I lost track of that. Yeah, there's 4 117s. All right, so I'm going to increment the counter to 305. So basically, by putting all of those letters together, I mean, I understand that it's like strength in numbers, so you want to put those letters together. But the problem is they have different implications. So L and G imply a 2-person relationship, but maybe there's only one gender involved. Whereas a T is a person changing their gender. And then a B is the person wanting to do or to couple with multiple genders. And now you're looking at a polycule at a minimum of 3 people. But let's say some of the other people, like, are you going to have, for example, a B marry a G and an S? Let's say S is straight. Because now that person has put themselves in the middle of 2 others and they're in like a position of power. Or are you going to have a B marry a B, and now they're going to branch in different directions, and you're going to end up with a polycule. You see how this starts to get confusing? But by putting them all together under one flag, under one group of initials, you're like saying you vote for one, you vote for all. See, this is another one of that. Do you remember the other day I was talking about that QAnon and how people would like quote the things that he said? And one of the things he said was like, nothing can stop what's coming. And I was thinking, like, why do people think that's a good phrase? That's not a good phrase at all. That's a scary phrase, saying nothing can stop what's coming. Whether you think it's, a volcanic eruption or the complete decimation of a currency, or, whatever, or a nuclear war, like whatever you think, nothing can stop what's coming, doesn't have a good connotation. Maybe you think it's the second coming of Christ, but even that, I don't know if you've read the book of Revelation, but nobody's disinviting Jesus, but according to the book of Revelations, when he comes back, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of mayhem going on. So anyway, one of the other phrases, and in fact, they use this one as almost like an oath. There was at one point where they told all the people who believe in this QAnon to make video. It's almost like they wanted to like arrest them on January 6th and they wanted to identify them first. Anyway, they told them all to make like 5-10 second videos saying this phrase. And the phrase was, where we go one, we go all. I don't even know what this is supposed to mean. Someone was claiming like it was on JFK's boat or something like that. So if it was if that's true, which I don't know if it is, then maybe this phrase meant something in the 1950s and 60s, but like currently, I don't get it, and it didn't seem right to me. Where we go one, we go all. Like if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you too? If the lemmings start like walking off the cliff, are you gonna follow the other lemmings off the cliff? I mean, I don't think this phrase makes sense. Where we go one, we go all. So it's the same thing with that. It kind of matches that LGBTQ plus. And I think there's IA, there's a lot of different letters in that phrase. And if you're going to say like where we go one, we go all, the implications of that, the legal implications of that are going to spiral out to such confusion so quickly. You cannot just lump a bunch of issues together. That's like when Congress approves one of those omnibuses. It doesn't work like that. You have to take each issue one by one. Yeah, they're going to go slow. Yeah, it might take a while. Maybe once in a while you're going to do something on an emergency, but you're going to follow it up later. By the way, do we ever follow up? Like after the Patriot Act, like the emergency, we did then. Did we ever like follow that up and like make sure we went through all the constitutional channels? Maybe we did. I'm not really big on it. I don't know. I remember it was rushed through, and we've rushed through since then. We rushed through TARP, we rushed through Ukraine, we rushed through. All we do is omnibuses and rushes. When do we sit back and debate these issues and decide what we really think? It doesn't seem like it happens very often. All right. Anyway, before we get too far into that topic, let me just mention that we need I think it's just 2 118s, and then they're going to be held together with, if I'm understanding this correctly, a single one of these 2Zs, except a single 2Z is not long enough. I think what they actually want is 2 2Zs. One of them to go in the top of one 118 and the other one to go in the bottom of the other 118. Like one from the top, one from the bottom. And each one is going to be flush to its own, like the one that it's entering, I believe. Because they show in the picture, they show it sticking out. Basically, this section is tricky and I don't have it all figured out. Let me get the pieces out and then we'll make sense of it. There's a 118 right there. There's another 118 right there. All right, so we got our 2 118s. Let's increment to 307 on the counter. Now, these little widgets, I don't think they're long enough to be left half sticking out. Look at the size of them. You're not going to go through both boards and have any extra. You're only going to go through one board. But if you only go through one board, there's nothing keeping the boards together. So maybe the bottom one goes through, but the top one is left sticking out. Look at that picture. See if you can figure that out. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I was trying to sand this off, but it's actually an intentional bump. So I'll stop doing that. All right. Let's line these up the way they have them lined up. So like this and then like this. All right. That's how we line them up. And then we put a 2Z in here and then a 2Z in here. The 2Z in here. Wait a minute. We're not even attaching these, are we? We're only putting the sticks in halfway and halfway. And then we're probably going to flip them over and attach them. Let's look a little further at the instructions here. See what's coming up next. So next is that's one board, right? Yeah, that's one board. Okay. So ultimately, they're going to attach around one of these other pieces, or maybe, no, two of them. No, one of them. One of these other pieces, they're both going to attach around it. Okay, so what we actually have to do is put these pieces in halfway. Each of them is going to go in. They're going to stick out, basically. So, all right, let's get them lined up again. So they line up like this. So the top one is going to go like halfway in from the top, and then the bottom one's going to go halfway in from the bottom. And we're not going to attach these because that's going to happen for another purpose at another junction. So for now, we're just going to push it in until it's flush on one side. Let's see if we got that. I think we got that. And it sticks out on the other side. So there you go. Actually, that's not obvious to see. There's a lot of crap there, including my fingers. All right, so it's flush on this side, sticks out on that side. And we're going to do similar with the bottom piece, except we're going to go from the other end. I think I usually zoom this one in a little bit further. All right, how does that look? Yeah, you definitely can see it up close. All right. So this one is going to go in here, and it's going to stop when it gets to flush. Kind of tricky. All right. Let's use this thing. Nope. Tipped over. Try again. Didn't have it started long enough. All right, let me get this. All right, this one. This is the circle. That is going in. All right, I got to get it started. I didn't have it started well enough last time. That's why it tipped out. Let's try again. All right. So now we got it flush on one side and sticking out on the other side. So we good. All right. There we go. Those two pieces are done. Now, no, we already did that. Wait, is this something new? Well, it's just a checkpoint, and we didn't do the checkpoint, but I see it now. It looks good. All right, so this is what we're doing next. We're grabbing one new piece. That's 119. And then we're going to put this piece in between these two pieces. But we have two of these. So I don't know. I guess the other one goes somewhere else. Anyway, let's increment to 308. And let's find 119. It's just a small piece, this 119. Here it is. There's two of them in here, which is good because it means, by the way, do you see those two 118s? So these are two 119s, but we're going to use those 118s for something. It's probably like a left side, right side sort of thing. So I'm going to punch out both of these 119s right now. And I think I'm going to look forward in instructions to see if we're also going to need those 118s in a minute. Nope, we need the 120s. All right. Good thing I looked forward. All right, so we are only going to use one. I won't count that one yet. All right, so let's do this. How do we do this? All right, so we point this out. No, that's not right. We point this out. We point this down. All right, now, these holes don't line up. They're not supposed to line up? I need a minute. I need a minute to digest this. All right, let's just do one half at a time. All right, so here's the top piece. And here's the middle piece. First of all, middle piece should be like this. Second, this pipe, it goes in here. Let's try to get that actually in there. All right, a little bit at least. I think it's still supposed to stick out the other end. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. All right, so that's in there. And then this is supposed to be pushed up. I don't know why there's not a toothpick in that end. But anyway, it's supposed to be all pushed up so that you can get access to that there. Because that's where the 119 goes. It goes in this way with the line in the middle, as I understand it. Let's try to get that in there. I'll tell you, it looks like it's like the hole is bigger than the piece. They're definitely 119s I'm holding, right? And are the sides the same? Looks the same. So why is that space bigger than this piece? Something's not right. Something's not right, but I don't see any alternatives, so I'm going to push it in. Assuming I can. Alright. That does not fit. So maybe it is supposed to go this way. Let's try it this way. Yeah, this is the way. I don't know why I was reading that wrong. It goes this way. The line in the middle. How can I get this in focus? All right, let me try turning off this light. All right. The line in the middle lines up with the hole. I mean, not exactly, but that's the way it goes. I was originally holding the piece the wrong way. Doesn't want to go in. All right. Do we dare sand it and potentially make it loose? Or do we wiggle it? Let's wiggle it. Let's wiggle it in there. Okay. That's in. Now for the bottom, which is basically should line up with this. That doesn't make sense. You know what? I think I put this toothpick in the wrong hole. It's supposed to be here. I don't know how I managed that, but it's in the wrong hole. So we're just going to move that toothpick. Yeah, it's in. Why was that so easy? All right, let's try this again. Okay. All right. So we hold it like this. We line this piece up the same orientation. And then the posts should go in here. And this piece should go here. So we got two connectors. There we go. I think it's together. This piece has a little bit of movement, not a lot really. Actually, in the instructions, it looks more like this. It's some type of hinge. You know, I don't know what it is. It's some type of hinge. And it's going to go somewhere. I don't know. Those are kind of obvious things that I'm saying. It's some type of hinge and it's going to go somewhere. I just put in the camera on just to have it on at least once per night. Anyway, how you doing? HDMI 1. I actually should be here. All right. Let's see what's next. All right. So two 120s. Two 120s are going to go around this piece. So, where are the 120s? Two 120s. There they are. There's one of them anyway. There's one. There's the other one. All right, so two 120s. There we go. Kind of a strange looking piece, but okay. Now, I have to go this orientation, like this, but stacked on top. And somehow, this is going to go in the middle, kind of like this. So this toothpick that sticks out on both ends. It's actually 2 different toothpicks when they're going to go through here. But then what? Because they're not going to stay on. If they would go through these toothpick holes, that would make more sense. There are little holes there, but instead they go in these slots. So this is like a double joint. So it flexes here and it slides here. So there's a lot going on with this joint. And it's not secured yet. So let's see what's next. Oh my goodness, times 2. We could have been doing everything twice. Basically, we have to do this whole thing again. This whole procedure we did, we have to do it again. So here's another one of these. Here's one of these. Let's count that one now. And now we need, all right. So does that mean we have 2 more 120s? Yeah, we do. So there's our 2 more 120s. Let's count those. 311. And then we need 2 more 118s. All right, let's count those up. That gives us 313. And then the 2 toothpicks we've already counted. Only issue is I only see one of them. So I don't know what I do with the other one. I'll just clip another toothpick. That's no problem. I'm sure I got plenty of half-clipped toothpicks already. All right, look at that. There's something. All right, let's measure that up. All right, clip off that little edge there. I almost clipped my fingernail. All right. Okay, there we go. So now, let's see if we can do it without taking an hour this time. And let's try to do it from memory. All right, so it goes here, right? I'm not looking at the instructions. I'm trying to do it from memory, just for the fun of it. Feel free to post in the chat, like I should say, chat. Tell me if you see an error. All right, get that flush. That's not flush. Try again. It's pretty close enough, I guess. All right, now this other one is going to go through the same spot, but from the bottom. All right, same spot, but from the bottom. You know, I think, all right, let's do this. You think we're doing it right? All right, that's flush. All right, I stack these up like this. Oh, that looks good, right? And then this one goes in the middle, kind of like this, right? I don't remember how this little piece goes. I think it goes on top. Okay. This one goes on bottom. No, let's make sure we got that right. Yeah. That looks good. Get that in there. It doesn't look right, but I think it just needs to be like folded the correct way. All right. We need to get this piece in the middle. Maybe should have done that first, but I think we can get it still. All right, so as I recall, this piece has to go facing this direction. And then this one has to go on top, which is a little bit awkward because we already put the toothpick through, but I think we can get it. All right, get that on there. Get that toothpick back in. All right, I heard a snap, so that's probably was good. All right, now we just had to make it look like the other one, so like this, right? All right, we either did it from memory or we screwed it up by trying to do it from memory. We probably did it right. I don't know. Let's advance to page 29 and see what happens next. Find out if we were right or not. All right, so let me see here. This is page 29. I want to see what board we're working from, but it keeps snapping when I try to zoom. All right, we're still on board 3. We need a 121, and we got to take one of these and snap it into 121. Do you think that's gonna be a ×2, right? Do you think? And then you have to put a toothpick through. So we need 2/2 of a toothpick. And I don't see a ×2. So I guess we're just going to do 1 for now. So 121 and a toothpick. All right, 121. There's definitely 2 of them here. And they have some other pieces inside of them, which are tiny little 12s. All right. Put those off to the side for now. All right, now here's 121. But we also need a toothpick. We just need to cut a toothpick in half. So we're going to count this. I'm not sure whether to count both halves of the toothpick. So for now, I'm just going to increment by 2 for 121 and half the toothpick. We're probably going to use the other half at some point, and at that point, I'll increment the counter. But for now, we're just going to do it, count 1/2. That looks about right. Maybe a smidge higher. All right. Okay. So, take one of these. This orientation. And something is not right. There should be 2. Something is very not right. But it could be that we just need to slide this like this. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. Okay. Now it looks a little bit more like the picture, but do we have it upside down? Do we have these pieces on upside down? It's tricky. Let's just try them the other way. I don't know. I know I shouldn't be moving them, but something tells me they go the other way. All right, let's go back and look at the previous page and see if we messed up when we were putting these on. All right, so this top lines up with this. Yeah, I think we're good now. All right, so now that we got this orientation correct for this piece, I'm actually going to flip it over just so that it matches what the book is showing. Now, this is a connector. These 2 are connectors. And these 2 are connectors. Why is the image so blurry? I'll just go to this image. I don't know. It's like my main camera doesn't work. Maybe I got to move it further back. I think I got to move my main camera further back. Camera 1. Let me try that right now. All right. Back to camera 1. Yeah, that's all I had to do. All right, so I have to remember that for the future. Camera 1 goes far back. Okay, all right. So let's get this here. All right. I know I'm stalling a lot on this because there's multiple connectors and there's a lot of pieces stacked like a sandwich, and I don't want to mess up. All right, so let's go. I think I still don't grasp what's supposed to happen here. You know what? I think those are the only two connectors. I think I was wrong about these connecting to anything. I think it's only those that connect. At least that's all I'm connecting for now. And then we'll just find out. We'll just keep working until we get a clue. All right. So not in very well. All right, there's one in. Kind of hurt my fingers though. I'm going to use the piece of wood on the next one. All right, do you hear that pop? Well, last time all that force hit me in the finger. Now it hit a piece of wood, much more comfortable. Okay, so that's in. Maybe it's right, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure. Now they want us to put the toothpick, but what I'm not sure is if the toothpick also goes through this middle piece. They definitely want the toothpick to go through this and this. Do they also want it to go through this? It's unclear. If it can be lined up, then I'm going to put it through. I'm just going to assume that that's correct. Like, why would it line up if it wasn't meant to be? So, we're going to put that in there. By the way, my son has a track meet tomorrow, so I probably shouldn't go that late tonight. Let me make this the last page for tonight. I don't know why he has a track meet on a Thursday, but he does. If it was like a local track meet, it'd be fine, but we have to drive to it. It's going to be problematic. Another problem is this, I don't know how badly this Antifa is in New York. I'm not happy lately with this like crime going on. It's like in all the major cities, there's like, for some reason, I don't want to blame it all on BLM, but it seems like during BLM, the cops were told to stand down or at least to be very careful. And I don't think they've quite come back since. And the criminals, I think, are getting bolder. Obviously, I'm not associating criminals with that movement from 3 years ago. I'm just saying that the cops got blunted, tamed, nerfed, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think they've fully come back yet. And, when the cat's away, the mice will play. So now it's like there's more crime. So I don't like driving through cities anymore. And in fact, I'm probably going to have to do it not only for this trip, which is just a day trip, but I'm going to have to do it in another city for my oldest son. And that's going to be even worse because it's not going to be like, at least New York, I'm very familiar with. I mean, I know where to drive and I know what the neighborhoods are, but when I have to do that for my older son, I'm not going to be happy about that. I mean, not that I'm not going to be happy. I am going to be happy to see my son. I'm not going to be happy to drive in a city where crime is out of control and I don't know the neighborhood. I mean, there's literally been like horror and thriller movies that start off with that plot. So I'm not the only one who's not comfortable driving through a crime-infested area that they're not familiar with. It's like a common problem. It's like a common thing. I don't know if common is the right word. It's a known fear. You know, people don't like it. It's like showering at the Bates Motel. It's like you got to be on your toes. All right, I'm trying to get this toothpick through, but I'm trying to do it without stabbing myself in the finger. And I'm worried that I'm also worried that it's gonna pop through like all at once. It actually didn't. It's like a little bit through, but I gotta get it a little bit further because they're probably gonna ask us to clip it at some point. And we want to be past the point of the toothpick. We want to be up to the barrel of the toothpick when we clip it. So a little bit further, I think. Yeah. I don't know if it's supposed to be sticking out at the end, but it's in there. All right, so yes. The next instruction is to clip the toothpick. So let's get it flush on one side. Actually, we need to know that the pieces are straight before we make it flush, which I'm not convinced that they are. So I'm not going to do it completely flush. I'm going to leave a little bit of room for error. All right, a little bit of room for error. But I need to at least get to the barrel. So I still don't think we're quite at the barrel. Or maybe it went in and slipped back out. I don't know. All right, let's see here. Okay. Wow, that piece is just not going in. Let's try again. All right, I definitely felt that go in a little bit. All right, I'm going to clip this toothpick. No. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then I look at this piece hanging out, and I revisit it. All right, now I'm definitely going to do it. We're good now. All right, time to clip the toothpick. Hold the end. There it is. There's the piece. Get that out of there. That was instruction 7 on page 29, I believe we're on. Yeah, 29. So what is instruction 8 saying? It's saying mirror. Does that mean that I should do the second one? All right, so to do the second one, I need another toothpick and another 121. I think that's a pretty weak instruction. It doesn't even say ×2. It just says mirror and then has a check. But all right, so we're up to piece 316. So we're going to do the same thing with the other side, but mirror. So let's just do it exactly like they do it. So they're showing the first one. No, that's not it. They're showing the smooth side. So actually, did we screw this up? Okay, it's like this. That's what they're showing. Whether we meant to do that piece or the other piece, that's the one we did. So now we have to mirror the other piece. So to do that, I think we have to start like this. And then we have to figure out how these go on, that looks correct. That looks like a mirror. But nothing is lined up. Does it not get lined up until we put this on? No, it's supposed to line up. It's supposed to line up like this, maybe? All right. I think we're not there yet. Let's study what this one looks like. All right, so it's this piece. That's where the toothpicks go. So does that mean we got to flip this around like this? Let's try it. All right, now like this. And now the toothpick will go? Nope. Like this, maybe? Like all the way around? I might be screwing this up. I'm sort of regretting that we did that one by memory that time. Where does this little hook go? The little hook, right? Where's the little hook go? There it is. You can see the line from it. All right, let's find the line here. It's back here. All right, so let's make this a mirror of that. So to do that, I'll spin this around and then lift this up. All right, does that look like a mirror? That doesn't look like a mirror. That looks like exactly the same thing. But all that means is we just got to flip it over, and now it's a mirror. All right, so now we just have to put these pieces on. Also using the mirror system, like so. All right, we're finally ready to attach it. Okay. There's the two attachments. So now continue to mirror means like this. There it is. That's it. I think we got it. And there's where the toothpick's going to go. Yeah. This is good. We're good to go here. We're not done yet, but we got it lined up. We got the idea. All right, let's see here. I have to actually make this happen. I don't remember this being that's difficult when we did the other side. It's like beginner's luck or something. Come on. Nothing is attaching. All right, that sounded good for a second. All right, let's see if we can get that one or two of those in. I think like this, maybe. There we go. That's it. Now we just got to put the toothpick in. Let's just check and see if it's a mirror image. It kind of looks good. I think that's a mirror image, right? Yeah. Why did it slide like that? Well, the piece just slides. That's just how it goes. All right, let's get the toothpick in. All right, let's see here. Get that little toothpick in there. Is that going in? Hard to say. I think it is. Get some support there. Give it a little push. All right, come on. Get in there. Let's put this in as a support. I'll push this down and hope for the best. I felt some movement. All right, I'm gonna hold it so I can see what's happening. Would you like to see what's happening? I'll switch to this camera. Ooh, that wasn't good. But that is, we got it, it's in. It was like not going anywhere, not going anywhere, not going anywhere, complete. Sometimes it happens like that. All right, that's it. That piece is done. Clipped and everything. All right. We're halfway through instruction 29. All right. By the way, HDMI 2. No, I don't have it. I don't have a picture-in-picture with HDMI 2 as the base. For a second, I was thinking if I had the face cam is on USB and the picture-in-picture. Sorry, the instructions are on HDMI 2, but I don't have a picture-in-picture set up with the face cam with the USB over the HDMI 2. Otherwise, I could have be inside of the like here I am on the face cam, but this is like HDMI 1. But if I had the instructions, I could be like pointing and saying like, look at this instruction, look at that instruction. But I don't have it set up. You know what? I think I'm going to replace this one. Yeah, I don't need the face cam here. I'm going to replace this. I'm going to switch to a different picture-in-picture for a second. And I'm going to replace that. No, I'm not going to do it. I can do it so that I could put the picture-in-picture over the instruction with me in the box and I could point to it. But I don't want to do it because I clone this project each day. And if I do that, I'm going to have to reset it tomorrow. So let's just do normal. Let's just do normal stuff. All right, so these two pieces that we just built, they're going to go on the two sides of the dashboard, the steering wheel, whatever you want to call it. And they're going to go, I have them opposites. This little pin goes on top. You see that pin there? That goes on top. And this thing goes in back. So I need to have them like this. Like that's the way they go. And then the dashboard is going to go in between them. Specifically, this square that's right underneath this pin, it's kind of slant ways. That's where it's going to go. All right. There we go. One side is on. Let's get the other side on. That same like slanted little piece. Let's get that in there. Come on. I don't want to break this piece because it's kind of a long piece and it's very important. It's the dashboard. It's not mechanically important, but it's like visually. You don't want to lose the dashboard. Let me get that on there without breaking it. All right. So I think we got that on there. So there's the little dashboard. Just get rid of the picture-in-picture for a second so you can see the dashboard. So there's the dashboard. It's pinned in both sides. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, so we'll finish page 29 and then stop for the night. And the last thing to do for page 29 is to just attach this whole big structure that we just built. We're going to attach this to a new piece called 122. So we'll increment to 317. We'll pop out 122, attach it, and then we're done. So this piece here, pretty sure this is 122. Yeah, 122. All right, so let's get the orientation right. There's an R and an L on it. and we need to flip those around. So we're actually going to attach to the side without the R and the L, just to show you here. So there's the R, there's the L. We're going to flip it around and attach to the side without the R and L. So the R and L are actually on the other side now. And we're going to attach. It's a lot of attachments, actually. 3 attachments. And those 3 attachments are 1, 2, 3 on both sides. So it's a little grid there. There's the 3 receivers. All right, so let's do that, and then we're done for the night. It's not fully on the other side. It just started. I want to get this side started too, and then I'll push one or the other all the way through. But first, I just want to get them started. Get all 6 pins started. Almost there. Are they all lined up? Because I don't want to push with any pressure if one of them's not lined up. Well, that one's lined up. And I pushed it all the way in. I wasn't really planning to, but it happened. And I popped the other side out, but I think it's recoverable. Let's go for all 3 at once, huh? That was stupid, but it worked. It was risky. I could have broke one of these boards. Anyway, I think that's it. I think we're done. Yep, we're done. We're moving on to page 30 tomorrow. I think it's pretty cool. We have now 2 pieces. We have this dashboard piece, and we have this body piece. And we're in great shape. So, page 30 tomorrow. See you tomorrow.